Hey,
Hello.
hi, it's Monday. And we're still a little bit asleep. I didn't have any coffee. Hi, it's Warren from Bremen.
Hi,
And
it's Bridget from San Antonio, Texas.
yay. My finger's gone. Okay. So how you doing over there?
Doing okay. Doing okay. Drinking my Earl Grey. The sun has shifted, so that's why I had to put my blinds down. Otherwise, it was like, blah. We are in
Ah,
autumn.
yeah, we don't get any sun. It's a little bit of sun over there. Not too much. It's mostly like the light.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's weird. Like we get some sun, but not too much. So we were just talking before the camera crew geared up about some really cool SEO takeaways that we had from clients over the last few days. And we were also talking about nearing the, I don't know, what would you say? I'm going to say over the halfway point of the edits for our next book. It's coming out in
Yeah.
December. So that's pretty exciting. And this one's for schools. And I like that because I spent a lot of my time working for educational, still working for educational clients. And you went to school, Bridget.
I did.
So yeah, there you go.
And I
So
was a teacher for a year.
yeah, good. This next book's going to rock. I was really very excited with the first two books, nonprofit, even more so, I guess, the most. But now with the school one, we got a lot of extra guest writers coming in, and I'm going to bring in, some really great social media examples, and yeah, it's going to be a great book. I can't wait to read it.
And the thing is that we've written these for the decision makers. So you could purchase the book, okay, and then follow the steps and do it yourself.
Hmm.
But our actual audience is for the decision makers, so they're educated enough to hire the right person in their marketing department, right? So they don't
Yeah,
get bamboozled by an agency. Like we encounter and I encounter a lot of
yeah.
times small business owners, even nonprofit boards who don't believe in these marketing agencies. And a lot of times it's because they get bamboozled.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
people like us who are practitioners and more like we get in there and roll up our sleeves and do the work, right? Do the work is my on the other side of my
nice.
mug.
I don't even
Uh,
have a mug.
well, you just talk to Rhonda. So anyway, like we want you to be educated enough to understand what you should have. Like SEO is search if you like really like we all say SEO, but if you really just nut it out, right? It's just optimizing how you appear in search.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not helping you really get found by all of the other things. Social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, YouTube, uh, and Google My Business, which is basically free real estate on the search page. And
yeah.
then and continuously posting on your website, even once a month, is better than zero because it's that cadence that tells Google that you're still in business, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, static content. I mean, we don't even have static content in our bricks and mortar stores. We don't put the spring clothes on the mannequins in the front window and leave them there.
Right.
We put the fall clothes on, the summer clothes, maybe we move them around to the other window, we bring in new fashion. I mean, it's always moving. It's always moving.
And you have that
Yeah.
salesperson to say, hey, did you know that the new color is blah, blah, blah? Did you see so and so wearing this and such? You can have that kind of conversation about keeping up with those trends.
For sure. For sure. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that salesperson on your website is a blog post.
Definitely, definitely, and that, I mean, I won't even talk about the website because we're not even on the website yet. We're still looking for the website.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's
restaurants.
yeah, SEO. I mean, we're harping on this SEO all the time, but I mean, if people can't find you, then well, everything else that you spent time doing is pretty much irrelevant.
Time and budget.
Yeah, this is very important. Very, very important. Definitely. I just wrapped up a 3-day course with WordPress, teaching people WordPress and things. And the last half day, I always, talk about SEO and social media. And I really like that because, people are excited. They're ready to go with their website. And then after a couple of hours of, talking about SEO, they're like really like unsure again, but in kind of in a good way, because they realize that there's so much more being found, and yeah, it's exciting. I like it because it's kind of like it doesn't end. It's a little bit, I was going to say it's a little bit about fashion, but I don't find fashion exciting at all. But if I were to like fashion, and I know there are people who do like fashion, I think this is maybe one of the exciting things about it, is that it doesn't end. There's seasons, there are trendsetters, and then if you've covered all the bases, there's always irony, you can throw in there. I haven't yet tried irony as part of my SEO strategy, but I'd be excited to try it.
I feel like that would be a little bit more advanced than 3 quick tips.
Exactly. Okay, we're gonna save the SEO
Well,
irony for another
in
day.
fashion, irony in music is the rules. Irony in writing, like E.E. Cummings, you have to know the rules, and in order to break them.
This is very true, actually, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I did see a great SEO, well, I guess SEO, SEA example of irony, and I believe Anamika shared this on Twitter last week, and SEMrush had set up their Google ads, and ironically, if someone had put in the key phrase, great SEO tool, or how can I optimize my SEO, or things like this, and including something that made Moz come up right to the top, because Moz comes right to the top. But then underneath there was the ad from SEMrush that says, you don't need to be searching for that, and they never mentioned about it, but the placement was so perfect, so you don't need to be searching for that. Click here for really good SEO advice. I think that's probably, and like you say, you've got to know the rules, because you can be ironic if you know the rules, and probably if you're well known. Like, I couldn't do this.
Yeah, like
I'm not SEMrush, but
I've been lately looking at the news that Facebook thinks I should be keeping track of.
Okay.
And apparently Victoria Beckham wore a dress from the 2000s that normally would be like a faux pas. However,
Victoria Beckham.
she was rocking it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's coming back earlier than the 30-year cycle for trends. Maybe
30 years. I only have like 2 trends in a lifetime then. Which, if we're talking the pants and hairstyle from the 70s when I was a teenager, it's probably a good thing. I don't want those pants nor the hairstyle back ever again. I'm quite fine with our lack of fashion.
So do you want to give targeted SEO tips for schools, or just generic? Like, before you pay an agency to do SEO, whatever the fuck that means. Because everybody now it's a noun. Like, optimize my SEO, just like you said that. When SEO means search engine optimization, right? But what they
Yes.
need is being found, findability. I
Yeah.
want to be found on the internet. And
Yeah.
they forget about all the other ranking factors. So before you pay someone to optimize your results on Google, what are 3 things that you need to make sure are in place?
Are you going to tell me, or are you asking me?
Well, I'm asking you. You're the one that teaches 2-week courses on SEO.
Yeah, there's that old saying, if you can't teach, if you can't teach PE or something. Well, okay, that's kind of timely because, I had a client, I have a new client now, and they called me, and, they had exactly the same sort of problem, because their SEO, I mean, technically is okay. It's good. You run it through any of the tools, it's 100 out of 100. So you're thinking, hey, everything's great. But they were relying on the fact that they had good SEO. But maybe they have good SEO, but they have no visibility. And
That's ironic.
well, that's ironic. There you go, some irony in SEO for you. And the problem is that they're sort of assuming that people were looking for them in a very generic way. So I think the first thing, I think it always really comes back to that, is really asking yourself, what are people looking for? And I mean, really, what are people specifically looking for? Like party rentals, are people looking for party rentals? I think they'll probably be a little more specific, are looking for party rentals for a wedding, bar mitzvah, graduation,
Wedding party supplies.
Yeah, wedding party supplies. So definitely that wedding party is going to be in there. They could also be very, very specific, say, tents for garden parties or something. They might not want the whole thing. They might want specific aspects of this party rental. They might just want glasses.
Yeah, the stemware rental.
It could be, yeah.
Tables and chairs.
Yeah, I think definitely the first thing is, really to understand, like, as granular as you can, what people want, and
is that
why
a quick
they want
SEO
it.
tip, though?
That definitely a quick SEO. That's my quickest. That's really the quickest, because, and this is the example I always use in my class right at the beginning. It's like, you want a burger. What are you going to put into the machine? What are you going to put into Google? And people start saying, cheeseburger. I said, okay, let's put in cheeseburger, and then after a few minutes, people catch on and they go, oh, okay, yeah, no, I would go, chili cheeseburger to go, and then I probably put in where I am, because
or near me
or something like that. I think, we do this without thinking. I think we do this when we're looking for things, but then when people ask, I think we draw a blank, initially, until we're drawn back into, like, why do you want this? Like umbrellas, what color do you want them? Cheap? Are they a gift? Is it for a man? Do you have
sun
this
or
thing
rain?
for sun or rain? Golf? Should it be collapsible? Is it something you're going to use as a weapon? I mean, why do you want this umbrella? And often we are optimizing for keywords, and keywords really are yesterday's soup.
Especially with voice search.
Oh, definitely, or with mobile. I mean, I can sit there and or here, or over there, and I could type in, music concerts on Saturday, and if I do this on my desktop, I'm going to get a huge range of options. But if I do it on my mobile phone, and I've tried this, I will get specific music concerts for this area. Desktop is general. This is the flaneur search of the internet. I'm strolling the internet.
Right.
But if I've got a mobile phone in my hand, okay, well, I want to know, right? I want to have local. So
okay,
I think, yeah. Those are my 3 tips right there.
3 tips. That was, where were the, I don't know where, I only saw, what are people looking for? That's one tip. So I'm gonna
understand what people are looking for is tip 1.
okay.
Tip 2 is understand how they're going to look for that which they want.
Okay.
I know
And
that
tip
sounds
3.
very flowery. I haven't done any tip 3 yet. I was tricking you.
Okay, but can
that's
I
2 tips.
but can I
tips.
put in my tip and can I insert my tip and how they look?
I think it's very important that you add something to this.
Okay, so, and this is so key because my friend had to go to a funeral in Corpus Christi,
Sorry.
from California. And
Hmm.
so, a couple months ago. And so
Okay.
she was like, how do I find, literally 70 years old, 65, 70, something like that. How do I find a hotel near the funeral parlor? She didn't know that on Google Maps, maps.google.com, you can put in the address of the funeral parlor and then click nearby and then say hotels.
Hmm.
Okay. And then it will show the price because it will ask you like what dates. So that how people look, okay,
Yeah.
that makes it very important that super logistical practical tip. Claim your business on Google My Business,
Definitely.
business.google.com. It's free. Business.google.com. It's free. Business.google.com. If you're not claiming that and having all that information filled out, then you are not going to be found when people are on their phone in Google Maps or saying near me on their browser. That is key.
Yeah.
Because near me is tied into Google Maps, and Google Maps is tied into Google My Places.
Yeah. That goes back to the very first video I think that we ever did together. What's the most important thing to have on your website? And besides, up-to-date content, it would be something like, your address, your telephone number, and you have to have that. You have to have Google My Business. You have to use it properly, and you have to have your address. And if you've got more than one location, you have to have both locations.
Hey,
If
it's
your
kind of a
building is
pain.
moved, change it.
And it is a pain to move. Let me tell you, I had to send my incorporation papers. They can be kind of finicky about that stuff, but it doesn't matter. It's worth it. So prioritize that. I'm serious. Like I do that all the time. In fact, I am going to a funeral tomorrow. And I did the exact same thing. I went to the funeral home place and then looked. I knew I was going to choose a Marriott. I was already brand loyal, but I didn't know which one or what the cities are. So I had to, I'm using Google Maps, right? Even for a road trip. Just it's over by Dallas, like a 5-hour trip.
Do they do cookies?
What do you mean?
Cookies. Do they give you cookies?
The funeral parlor?
No, I'm sure the funeral party does not give cookies. That would be not ironic nor the hotel. Yes, the hotel, if they give cookies. The last time I was in an American hotel was in Niagara Falls, and they had these really big American beds with like 6 comforters and 37 pillows, and it's just all American. And all the people who were working there had like really like real big, strong teeth, because they're raised with like milk and steak and everything. And they were all like big, healthy people. And like they gave you bags like of complimentary cookies, and the cookies were like almost as big as my head. And it was all just like, wow. It's like, wow, American hotels, cookies, huge beds. I was scared I was going to fall out of it and break my neck.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Marriott's have the best beds, but that's like a brand thing. So
yeah, I don't know. Well, what's the name of the hotel in Niagara Falls? I don't know.
The hotel, because there's
See,
only
I could just Google that. What's the hotel in it's probably like, kind of like Marriott. No, it's not Marriott.
Hyatt.
Hotels. It's not a Hyatt.
There's only a few chains. There's only a few chains because they keep consuming.
It was one of these Niagara Falls. Hotels in Niagara Falls. There we go. Okay, I don't even think it says Embassy Suites. It was an Embassy Suite. Now an Embassy Suite. See, look at that. It was number 2 on the thing. It was a Google ad, by the way. They knew. Google knew, it heard me.
So that's search engine advertising, SEA.
That's SEA, and we're talking about that next week.
Okay, so
But I want to jump in there. Okay, go
understand
ahead.
what people are looking for.
Yeah.
Understand how they look.
Yeah.
And tip 3.
That was yours about the funeral parlor.
No, that was a subtitle.
That was a subtitle. So tip 1 is that's tip 3. Well, I'm just gonna go off the board for 300, please, Jack. And I'm gonna say that my 3rd tip is don't put all of your eggs in your SEO basket. That's what I'm going to say, because, and Bridget mentioned this before, there's the salesman in your store, there's your blog post, there's your off page, there's your social media, there's your Google My Business, there's all these things. But as we just saw here, I went to Google and I searched for something. Ads are with intent to purchase. My intent here was not to purchase a suite in Niagara Falls. I was looking for information about cookies, organic search, information. And the answer was number 2, which was an ad. So there you go. Now I know I've got Embassy Suites in my head. I didn't click on the ad. They didn't pay for that, but now I'm going to be thinking about them. They're healthy staff, they're big beds, they're big head-size cookies.
Yeah, so even the ads are for brand awareness.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, you never know. You never know.
And I'm like, so Google My Business, and number 2, I would say you need to be on social media. I would choose Twitter because that actually helps,
I think it depends on your brand. Twitter can be a really ugly place.
No, I know, but tweets are actually indexed by Google. I mean, from a technical standpoint, it's there.
Yeah.
And you know what? Every place can be ugly. Just don't be an asshole, and don't pay attention to them.
The Embassy Suites in Niagara Falls can't be ugly.
Right.
It's like with those cookies and those beds. I don't think anything ugly has ever happened there.
Right. Now I want cookies. And so my 3rd thing would be,
now I'm going to send a bill to Embassy Suites in Niagara Falls saying, hey, I just got some promo work from us. We won't mention them in our book.
Well, the Hyatt and the Marriott. So Google My Business, Twitter, and then the 3rd thing would be you need to have blog posts.
Yeah.
So remember, the web is about, a spider web is all these little things that are connecting. It's a network, right? So it's just like neuroplasticity with your brain. The more you learn, the more neurons and connections you make in your brain, which is like freeways or infrastructure, the more you can learn. It's the same way with the internet. Yeah. It may be crowded, but there's still room for growth. So if you have blog posts, you can share those on social media. You can share them on your Facebook page. You can share them on LinkedIn. You can share them on Twitter. You can also email them out in your email marketing. You can also, when somebody asks you a question, you can send them a link to that blog post because you wrote it based upon frequently asked questions. And if you're not sure what to write about, you can install the free version of Launch with Words with 12 blog prompts that I specifically wrote to help you trigger your memory like Warren did with the cookies, right? Once you have those questions, and the hamburger is like, oh, hamburger. No, if you're looking for a hamburger right now, 1, 2, 3, you have a gun to your head, you're looking for a donut, what do you actually type in? Because your human behavior is completely different than the other. So, yeah.
Definitely. Here we got you talking about donuts and burgers. I'm talking about cookies.
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, it's dinner time here in Bremen. Well, not yet. It's almost. It's wine o'clock. In 15 minutes, it's wine o'clock.
Well, I'm still drinking tea, so.
Nice. Okay, so we've got some good tips, which are listed down below this video. And yeah, if you've got any questions, please let us know. Reach out to us. We love answering questions. You don't even have to Google them. You just send us a mail.
Or put them in the comments of this video.
Definitely could do that. That's a great
That's
way
even
because
better.
then other people can learn.
Yeah.
That's great.
And we'll have a topic for the next videos.
That would be awesome. You know, no one sent us a topic yet. I think I'm going to put that on Twitter. We need a topic. Oh, we might get some smarty panty people though. You know, they might go, I'd like to know about, what are those things? DevOps. Oh my goodness. Kubernetes.
Oh, Kubernetes.
Kubernetes. Yeah. Could you guys talk for half an hour about that?
Yeah. It's a way for different containers to talk to one another.
That's
that's
okay.
all you
Well,
need to
but we
know.
still got like
If you need to know more,
29 minutes.
hire a systems admin.
Yeah, definitely. Is there a plugin in WordPress for Kubernetes? Wonder if there is. Should be.
Well, no, because it's not a
Probably
WordPress
No,
thing.
I know, but there's a plugin
It's
for
a
everything
Docker
else.
thing.
There's like 60,000 plugins. I mean, it surprised me. It would be interesting just to have one in there, like in the plugin list, just sort of as, you know, ironic thing. Someone goes, oh my goodness, there's actually a plugin for this. It's like, haha, I gotcha.
That'd be fun.
All right. Good. Well, it was good chatting with you.
Always.
And yes, as always. And we're going to see you next week. And everyone have a great time. And don't sweat the SEO. Just do it. Just do it. Try it. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.